Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Cooler Master ATCS 840 case. What's included is the user's manual, cable ties, cable tie downs, a power supply brace, fan brackets, 8-pin motherboard extension cable, screws, motherboard standoffs, a speaker, 120mm fan grill, and an external air duct. This full tower ATX case is available in a black and silver color, and this case is very, very large. But thankfully it's aluminum, and that does keep the weight down considerably. At the top are two massive 230mm exhaust fans, and if preferred, these fans can be removed and up to 3 optional 120mm fans can be installed. Now thankfully, this top panel can be very easily taken off by removing 2 thumb screws at the back and just sliding this panel backwards like so. This allows access for adding, removing, or replacing fans, or installing a radiator. Now to add fans or radiator, you'll need to use the included fan brackets. The power button, reset button, as well as the hard drive activity LED and power LED are located at the top of the case. And this is a perfect place for this because normally full-size tower cases should be placed on the floor. Here are the 4 USB 2 ports, headphone jack, microphone jack, firewire port, and external serial ATA port. At the front, there are 6 5¼ drive bays, but the last one has a 5¼ to 3.5" drive bay adapter and a 3.5" drive bay cover. This enables an external 3.5" drive to be installed in any one of the 5¼ drive bays because the adapter can be repositioned or removed if preferred. The bottom section actually comes off, and to remove it, just push this way. They include a removable, washable dust filter and a very large 230mm intake fan. Also note that there's a dust filter at the bottom front of the case. This is just extra ventilation to allow the fan to intake even more cool air inside the case. And this filter can be taken out by removing 2 screws. The left side panel and the right side panel doesn't have a window, fans, or ventilation. At the back of the case there are 2 holes for a water cooling system's tubes to pass through, and note that this section can be removed and a standard ATX power supply can be installed. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed, and they include a 120mm exhaust fan. There are 7 ventilated expansion slots and extra ventilation. A standard ATX power supply can be installed at the bottom, and they also include 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. The external air duct gets mounted at the back. Once an optional 120mm fan is installed with the included 120mm fan grill, the external air duct can be very easily placed on the back and secured with 2 thumb screws. It assists to pull warm air from the video cards out of the case. There are also slotted holes for the computer cables to pass through. This case fits micro ATX, standard ATX, and extended ATX form factor motherboards. There's a lot of room to work on the inside, and thankfully the motherboard tray is removable. Note the hundreds of ball bearings used. This assists the motherboard tray so it glides over the tracks. The motherboard tray has a couple of cable management holes, and this is for cables to pass through. There are also a couple at the top right of the 5¼ drive bays. This allows cables to be hidden, which cuts down the cable mess inside the case. This not only looks great, but it improves airflow inside the case. Also note this very large hole in the motherboard tray, and this is to allow access to the heat sinks or water blocks mounting hardware. Since many heat sinks and water blocks require mounting hardware to be installed on the back of the motherboard, this hole means that you won't have to remove the motherboard if you wish to remove or replace the heatsink or water block. This is extremely handy and an enormous time saver. There are 6 internal 3.5" drive bays for hard drives. Installing hard drives is a toolless operation, and it's extremely easy. First, remove the rail mount, then just place the hard drive in, lining it up, making sure that the pins fit into the hard drive. And note that each one of these pins has rubber, and this is to cut down on the vibrations. Then just slip it back in and secure it into place. Installing drives in the 5¼ inch drive bays is also a toolless operation. Just simply slip the drive into the 5¼ inch drive bay and push here. If you want to take the 5¼ inch drive out, push here again and slip the drive out. The power supply brace that's included gets installed at the top of the case, and this is to support long power supplies. Now, depending upon the length of the power supply, you might have to remove both 230mm fans. If the power supply is relatively short, you could probably get away with just removing the back 230mm fan. The recommended location for installing a power supply is at the bottom of the case. They include a soft rubber footing for the power supply to rest on, and this is to prevent vibrations. They also include a removable, washable dust filter. Two optional 120mm fans can be installed to the left of the hard drive bays, and another optional 120mm intake fan can be installed at the bottom. Also note, this case will fit even the longest video cards. At the bottom there are 4 soft feet which have excellent anti-vibration properties and won't scratch the surface. There's also another removable, washable dust filter, and this is for the optional 120mm intake fan which can be installed at the bottom. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. If you're in the market for a full-size tower case, then you're not going to get anything better than this. This is one of the very best full-size tower cases on the market. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.